So I'm a dating boy and went to Beaver Creek High School, got involved in theater there because I didn't fit in anywhere else, so why not? And then I went to Wright State University and got my degree in acting with an emphasis in musical theater. And while there, I found that my particular style of things that I like to do revolves around rock and roll musical theater, something a little more avant-garde than Oklahoma. And I love Oklahoma, but I'll just never be in it. So what I've done is I've kind of tried to pursue only those things, because I think that's what's important to me. So Rent is really the first musical I fell in love with. I remember listening to it in my car while I was first beginning to drive, which was much later than it should have been. But I remember listening to it and thinking like, this is awesome. I'm driving and like, this is rebellion, you know, because they're dropping the F-bomb and ooh, what's my mom gonna think? Anyway, so I fell in love with the show. And I had been in the show when Encore Theater Company did it. And that was an absolute incredible experience because for the first time I felt right in a role, which is very exciting. So having the opportunity to direct Rent and highlight the things that I think are important in the story is, I guess it's kind of a dream, actually, and I'm very, very excited to begin. I would challenge them to look again at the piece. I think why people think that it is irrelevant to today is because it focuses around the AIDS pandemic. And of course, you know, AIDS is not extinct yet. It is still an issue, and numbers are constantly on the rise, which is scary. But to me, what that story focuses on is people deciding to live in the moment. And I think that today that is important now more than ever, because we have all these devices and computers and phones in our hands, and what that does is that it's designed to keep us in touch with people. But really, because of these, we can't have a conversation anymore with the person in front of us. Mark and Roger have this beautiful lyric in What You Own that says, connection in an isolating age. And that's kind of the key phrase to me for the entire show, is that this is about a group of people that, for whatever reason, from their backgrounds, the heartache that they've endured, illness, any of these things, prevents them from living in this moment, in the now. And they find it on this one magical evening, all of them are awakened. And then they spend an entire year trying to find it again because they lose it out of fear. And so what's relevant to me is that all of us are terrified at any given point in our lives. And that's what these characters are going through. So it's not irrelevant. Rent is set in a period that has passed already, but the story of it and the characters and what they deal with are still true to today. I remember sitting in callbacks and just thinking, God, like what can't they do? They sing everything. You know, they can sing out the wazoo. They can act like crazy people. And what I really enjoyed in that whole process is that I was able to say, all right, this is not a singing competition anymore. Clearly, you're all brilliant. What this is I want to see what you can bring to these characters. What piece of you highlights something in this person that has never been seen before. And all of them brought that. So what it ended up being is putting together this beautiful puzzle of, you know, this person offers that, this person offers this. And together we ended up with this glorious cast. Our Mimi is actually a dancer, like an exotic dancer, and that's incredible. Our Roger really plays guitar. We have incredible vocalists throughout the ensemble that brought their personalities to the callback, which is important because, you know, if you reproduce the same thing that's been done for Rent, if you do a carbon copy, a cookie cutter of the Broadway version, why pay to see the show? What's interesting to me is that these people are who they are in these roles. I can't wait to see what they bring to them. I got just the tiniest glimpse of it in a callback, and that's why they ended up with the part. I've been hearing that they're incredibly excited. Every once in a while I get an email or a message or something talking about how anxious they are to begin it, and I feel that too. So I think we're just going to get up in that first rehearsal and tear it apart, completely fearless. I think it's kind of a similar thing to the cast. They each bring their own individual take on stuff. Ian Benjamin, our music director, is an amazingly talented pianist and actor as well. And so that's what excites me about him being music director, is that he's going to bring this actor sensibility to it and say, okay, let's look at these words. Yeah, you have the melody down. Now what is this saying? What does this really mean? What does this mean to you? What's your take on it? Our choreographer, Edward Carrigan, he's just a ridiculous person. I worked with him twice now. He directed and choreographed both Hedwig and Tommy when I did those shows. And he is a truly collaborative artist. And I can bounce ideas off of him. And he'll say, okay, neat, now think about this. And together, we elevate each other. He'll say, I mean, even when he was a director for me and I was the actor, he said, how do you feel about this? He takes into consideration what an actor thinks. Because he and I both realize that if an actor doesn't feel comfortable in a scene or with a bit of choreography, it's never going to look right. They need to do something that makes them feel empowered and strong and beautiful. Yeah. And our set designer, Reza, who I've worked with, I've worked with numerous times as an actor and set designer, twice actually. He's ridiculously talented. He comes to you with a concept for something and you say, ooh, I didn't think about that. And so this whole community of the crew is just building upon each other and saying, yes, I love this idea. How about that? Ooh, I love that too. How about this? And it grows from there. It's scary, and of course it makes me nervous, but I'd be concerned if I wasn't nervous. So since I'm nervous, now I'm making sure that I have everything that I need. I'm nervous because I want my actors to succeed. I want them to tell the story in the best possible way. If I wasn't nervous and I just thought, I got this in the bag, we're not going to create art together. What we're going to create is some sort of an empty shell of a piece. But now, since I'm nervous, and probably all of us are a little bit, it's that excited, nervous energy that propels you to move forward. Yeah, it is, and you know, Dare to Defy is doing their own thing, and I always think that that's exciting, you know. And so because of that, yeah, there's that nervous energy, and we're figuring this out together. But it's constantly supportive as we go forward in things. We're thinking, okay, here's this. All right, well, we learned from that. Let's move on and make this part better. So yeah, there's a nervous energy about it. But again, I'd be concerned if none of us were.
Right.
So I think recently the lyric that was just highlighted to me was in La Vie Boheme, and that lyric is, to people living with, not dying from, disease. This is a show that is about today. It's about people taking the terrible things in their life and growing from them and realizing that there's still a lot to live for. Yeah, people, maybe someone has a reservation about buying a ticket. You buy the ticket because you love the show, because you love the music. However, with our production, we're going to make you stay because maybe for the first time, you're going to see yourself in the show. And who hasn't wanted to be in Rent? You know, we're going to work hard and do our jobs and bring life to this piece that many people think has passed its time. So buy the ticket because you love it, and stay because for the first time you see yourself in the show.